Greetings, metal community. It's Roger back with fourth video actually of the death metal journey. Going to Norway this time. Starting off with a old band. I think it's pretty known, but back in the days it was not so many death metal bands. But one of them was Molested, Blod-draum. I guess a lot of people know this band because of Mr. Brun's other band, Borknagar. But this is just brutal, pummeling death metal, murky production, deep vocals. I do think this came out in, I don't remember, 94, was recorded in 94, so probably early 95 that this came out. And I love this album. I bought the reissue vinyl that came out last year or something. That was also a pretty awesome release. So yeah. And then later on in 95, I think this came out after the album. It's the Stormvold EP, which has some, they have a song from the Blod-draum record, but the new stuff, and this is kind of more cleaner production, or cleaner sound in a way. Still brutal and pummeling, but not so wild as the Blod-draum. Blod-draum is kind of like feels that it's out of control in a way. This is slightly more controlled, but this was the last thing they did, sadly, because this band could have done great stuff in the death metal world. Another band this band is probably lesser known. This is more towards the black and death metal. Is Shaarimoth's Current 11. This album came out in 2005 or 6. Not quite sure about that. This features some members that was in discipline for a short period. It was recorded back in 2002, but it took a while to get it out. They did also release a album in 2017 or something, maybe earlier. Yeah, I think it was 17, which is pretty good as well. I couldn't find it. I have it somewhere in my collection, but as I said in a previous video, my stuff is spread all over the place, so I need to get some new shelving going on, especially for my vinyl. But yeah, this is a great black and death metal album. More death than black metal for sure, but it has more of the black metal atmosphere together with death metal music in a way. But yeah, a good release, and not a release that a lot of people know about or talk about. Then I'm going to talk about two. Well, one of them is pretty known, I know, but the first I'm going to show is Execration, and that's one of my two favorite death metal bands from Norway, or in general. They are just killing it. This is the 2017 EP. 2007, yeah. It was recorded in 2006. This is kind of brutal death metal, more towards the US style. The same is with the first album that came out in 2008 called Syndicate of Lethargy. I was thinking Dying Fetus when I was revisiting this. A little bit too. They had two vocalists, or both the guitar players, I think, who sings. They have kind of a darker, one have a darker and one have a lighter vocals in the same style as Dying Fetus, so that was probably why that popped into my head. But you know, more of a brutal, straightforward death metal album. But towards the end of this album, they incorporate some more doomier stuff, and the last song is very long and kind of a atmospheric piece, and it's a very nice transgression to this over to the next album, even though this album came out in, I think it was 2010. I'm guessing 2010. It's kind of like I said, this is more doomier stuff on it. Not death doom, it's just have more parts with slow, heavy death metal. More variated tempo. The vocals have changed a little bit. They kind of more opened up their singing, trying out more variation of the vocals. Everything is kind of a progression. It's not turning into progressive death metal, but it's just so much more going on, and this album is killer. And you put it on, you don't want to take it off, because it's just excellent stuff. And it's an hour or so long, but that doesn't matter. It's just a killer album. And yeah, check out Execration, Ode of the Occult. It could be a nice starting point to this band, because the first album is kind of not the same style as the rest of the stuff. Then we go to 2014 and Morbid Dimensions. This is again slightly change of style in a way, and also vocal style. I feel there are more thrash elements in this album, and also the sound is kind of more towards a thrash sound on the guitars, and might do with the riffing as well. And you know, they don't have the same production on any of the albums, and everything changes a little bit. It's still not a problem to hear that it's Execration, but and this is a color variant. You know, the inner sleeves have this going on, and I should have bought some anti-static. And you know, me, I don't like splatter, but this is kind of a subtle splatter, so this is pretty okay, and it follows the color schemes of the vinyl. And the fun thing is that the second disc on this edition has a total, not totally different, but still a splatter, but have other colors, or different colors in a way. And this have a picture like this, and it looks like that. So pretty different from the other one, and often you see that both vinyls are pretty similar, so it's kind of a cool thing to do. It has, you know, a two-sided poster of the cover. Yeah, as I said, more of a kind of a lighter record in terms of production and sound, but more progressive in style, more experimental, and yeah, but a great album. And then we are going to well, for now, the last album. Hopefully they gonna release some new stuff soon. That's Return to the Void. This was my favorite album in 2017. It's just a killer album. Still the same as the previous album, but more of a tightened up production on it. The sound is more tight, and the playing is kind of not so, you know, yeah, it's just more structure in a way. on this album, and it's just a killer album. And the title track "Return to the Void" is an excellent song, and about 3 minutes out in that song there is a absolute killer thrash riff that you want to, I want to go into a mosh pit every time I hear that riff. I think I will link up that song below so you can check it out. This is a, Gatefold. This is a shorter record as well, and like 45 minutes, which I think was a smart move compared to, not that the last albums was boring, but it's kind of, when there's so much going on in music, when you come to the more progressive style, it can be too much to have an hour or more than an hour to listen to, because stuff get lost in the hearing session. But this album is just killer stuff, and still death metal based, but progressive, and the vocal style is varying from thrash vocals to solid death vocals. So do check this out. It's one of my absolute favorite albums the last 5 years. Then we are going to another, I think, more known band, Obliteration. This is total fucking Obliteration. This is the first EP that they released back in 2005. I got it signed by Sindre back in the days. Saw them on Inferno Festival in Norway. They were just, I don't know, 16, 17 or something. I don't think they were old enough to be inside of the venue, but they were let in to sign their copy. So this is Obliteration started out like, I would say, Autopsy Worship in a way. Old school death metal for sure, but very much Autopsy infused death metal. Then a couple of years later, in 2009, they released Necrosomes. Killer album. Still a young bunch, and it's kind of, I jumped over one record. I have to go back. This is the second full length actually, and more finding their own path in a way. Still a lot of Autopsy feel to it, but they are starting, especially in the vocal session, vocalists are trying out something different, and he has kind of a cool voice where he pushes himself almost to, the voice kind of cracks or bursts, but it's controlled in a way. So great album. I was supposed to show you Perpetual Decay, of course, from 2007, but when you don't write stuff down, and you change formats, fuck up. No way. This is as the same as the EP, very much Autopsy influenced death metal, old school, as you can see on the cover. They breed old school death metal, this band. Great stuff. Black vinyl, luckily. So then I can jump over. I'm not going to repeat myself on the Necrosome record. The Necrosome record was kind of the first record where I really felt that this band was onto some cool stuff. Then they released a single or EP, Goat Skull Crown. Goat Skull Crown is a single from the Black Death Horizon album that comes in the same year, 2013. On the B-side they have a Devil Pig by Voon and a cover by Necrophagia, Reincarnation. Yeah, it's a okay teaser. You know, I'm not massively fan of cover songs, as you know, but it was, you know, Goat Skull Crown is a great song, so just a fun thing to have. Then the album itself came out, and you know, this is a step up again, more of their own sound and style. You know, it's not very easy to read these lyrics because yeah, a lot of things going on. Cool picture of the guys. You still have the old school and, you know, the autopsy kind of in the background, but they are just develop the style a lot throughout the years, and just got more and more kind of their own sound. And then in 2018, and again, this was my favorite album in 2018, Cenotaph Obscure, and that's what has been playing in the background. Just a killer death metal album. The autopsy influences are now almost gone. This is just a great old school death metal album. Yeah, killer songs. I mean, every one of these are just excellent. Black vinyl. And there's no lyrics here, but you know, have a picture for each song with you know, some you know, writings about every song. So yeah, just a absolute killer death metal album. And yeah, I don't know how many times I played this, but it's a lot. So if you haven't heard Obliteration, do check them out. They started out, as I said, with autopsy, kind of a worship, or just a lot of influence. But now they have totally gotten their own style. It's just a pummeling, great production on it. You know, it's not overproduced, it's just rightly produced. The drumming on Obliteration and Execration is excellent stuff. They are what I call organic drumming. Very groovy, very in tune with the music. It's not like you have this triggered double bass drums that, you know, pummeling through. You know, the drummer plays together with the musicians, rest of the musicians here, and killer stuff. And Syndra's vocals are excellent as well. And this album is just a absolute, you know, newer classic to me. And yeah, love this album and love this band. Obliteration and Execration are two of Norway's finest bands. Never, you know, hasn't to do with any genres, whatever. You know, Execration and Obliteration are just killer stuff. So yeah, that was all I had for this video. As I said in my previous video, I have a Polish edition coming up pretty soon. Maybe record it tomorrow, I don't know. It pops up when it does, so hopefully you enjoyed this, and I was not talking to, you know, back and forth too much, but it's kind of difficult to separate everything when you're sitting here and talking to this camera. But yeah, vi hörs.